board the helicopter and touch down on the vast plains below. Have you ever hunted from the sky? Today, we're about to take you on an adrenaline-pumping experience like no other. This is the ultimate test of speed, sound, and precision aiming, but also the perfect chance to prove our sharpshooting skills in action. Boom! 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 Keep on it! Don't let it escape! We raise our rifles, locking on the targets. But the wild boars scatter wildly, turning the hunt into a fierce challenge. The fields below have been trampled and ravaged by these beasts. From the helicopter, we see the full extent of the devastation. With determination gripping our hands on the triggers, we vow to protect the crops, the livelihoods of the people. We won't give these creatures a moment's peace. Locked in our sights, a flawless shot brings down the first target. A powerful start to the aerial sweep has officially begun. High above, everything comes into clear view, and the next target has appeared. The roar of the helicopter cuts through the air, sending a warning to the boar that its time is up. It bolts in a desperate bid to escape, but it's already too late. I grip my rifle tight, tracking its every move, every twist in its frantic run. Everything is calculated, every second timed to perfection. Then comes the moment. Boom! The boar pushes on, but it won't get far. A second shot rings out, and down it falls, right where it stands. A flawless shot. A perfect finish.
He's dead. Coming up, where you at?
They're right at here, 9 o'clock.
Exciting terrain ahead. Time for me to show off some long-range shooting skills. These are techniques I've mastered, and the target has just appeared. From high above, the helicopter closes in on the boar, creating a heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat moment. This wild creature panics and bolts like a runaway train. Boom! From the sky, the bullet cuts through the air and strikes the boar's body. It drops right where it stands. A perfectly executed shot. What did you think of that shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know. We move toward the forest west of the village, a known stronghold for many wild boars and the perfect place to expand our sweep. Out of the bushes, a massive shadow burst forth, rustling fiercely. A raw force of nature had arrived. The wild boar charged at full speed. I locked onto the target, aiming for its weakest spot. Bang! The bullet tore through the air with deadly precision, sending the boar sliding across the red earth. Dust exploded everywhere as the animal lay motionless. Another trophy secured for the day. With my modern binoculars, I spotted the target from a distance, a herd of wild boars, completely unaware of the danger looming. All right, their time has come. I quickly took aim. Bang! A precise shot tore through the air, racing against the fleeing target's speed. The boar collapsed motionless on the ground. A shot nothing short of perfect. The enemy's footsteps came fast and heavy, closing in for every second. I was ready for the fight, gripping my rifle tight, refusing to back down. Suddenly, a massive dark shape burst from the bushes, leaping forward. The distance was dangerously close. Hesitation meant risking my own safety, but hesitation wasn't an option. A perfectly placed bullet struck the boar's body. It collapsed, but tried desperately to break free. Bang! The finishing shot hit home, and it finally went down for good. I let out a quiet breath. Just like that, we'd managed to protect some peace for the village. And just like that, today's exhausting chase came to an end. The heavy burden of worry over the damage caused by wild boars seemed to lift, leaving behind an unusual sense of relief. Amid rugged terrain teeming with danger, hordes of wild boars gathered to take refuge. But today, fearless hunters venture straight into their lair to track down these ferocious beasts. Do they have the grit to take down the savage horde? Breathtaking moments, from treacherous swamps to dark, dense forests, are about to unfold. Join us to witness every shot that marks their triumphant hunt, coming up next. Rugged terrain, conquering wild boars in the muddy lands. The hunt across the Texas swamps will be the first battleground for today's clash. Deep within the marsh, Nick quickly spots a herd of wild boars foraging together. In an instant, he locks onto his target and pulls the trigger. The gunshot echoes, sending the herd scattering in panic, leaving behind the body of a hefty boar on the leaf-strewn ground. A precise, clean shot, an impressive opening to this thrilling pursuit.
Right in front of you.
Get him yet?
At the clearing near the swamp, a lone wild boar, leisurely foraging, falls squarely into John's crosshairs. Without hesitation, he adjusts his rifle's aim and squeezes the trigger. The shot rings out, striking the beast dead on, leaving its lifeless body motionless on the ground. Another threat neutralized, another triumph added to the team's tally. Continuing to track the trail to the eastern edge of the swamp, John quickly spots his target. A wild boar, engrossed in foraging, remains oblivious to the hunter's presence. Selecting the optimal position and angle, he pulls the trigger. Flawlessly executed, the beast collapses instantly, without a chance to resist. Almost simultaneously, the familiar sound of gunfire echoes from other ambush points, signaling the mission's success. The threat is swiftly neutralized, ensuring these beasts won't ravage the farmer's crops, at least for today. A decisive shot rings out through the dense forest, where another hunting team has just arrived in their familiar vehicle. Upon reaching the site, they swiftly move to their pre-assigned positions. Mere minutes later, a wild boar ambles directly into Leon's crosshairs. Waiting for the perfect moment, a single gunshot shatters the silence, and the beast collapses instantly. An impeccably precise shot, eliminating yet another threat to the forest. At the same moment, deep within the forest, a hidden marksman spots a herd of wild boars entering his line of sight. A rapid succession of shots rings out, striking two boars at the rear while the lead boar escapes into the dense woods. Outside the forest, the barking of hunting dogs echoes. Instantly, a massive wild boar emerges. Without hesitation, a barrage of bullets is unleashed, cutting off the beast's escape route. To ensure no mistakes, the hunter approaches closer and delivers a final decisive shot, completely neutralizing the threat. This meticulous takedown reveals just how cunning these beasts are, keeping the hunters ever vigilant. Another area is cleanly secured, restoring peace to the land overrun by these creatures.
In Oklahoma, wild boars are a nightmare ravaging the land. With an estimated population ranging from 600,000 to 1.5 million, they've spread across 70 of the state's 77 counties, causing over $7 million in damage each year to crops, livestock, and soil. But worse yet, they're a major source of dangerous diseases for both humans and animals. Today, we'll trek through the forest, following muddy, trap-laden paths to confront this invasive species head-on. The boars were much smarter now. They knew how to retreat deep into the woods to avoid the hunter's sight. But that didn't stop us. Once we brought our guns into the woods, we only left when we had killed a worthy prey. After 15 minutes of silent ambush, the first target appeared. Without haste, without defense, it calmly approached as if this was its own territory. On the shooting post, Travis was completely silent, the barrel of the gun lowered, and then a sharp shot came. But the stubborn boar did not fall. With a strong survival instinct, it still tried to run away. Travis immediately fired a second shot, this time to kill the prey. A smooth start, not dramatic, but satisfying enough. With our usual tactics, we continued to move, both to avoid leaving traces and to widen our field of view. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the slope. A herd of wild boars was charging down. I stopped, raised my rifle, and my heart began to pound. The angle was not fatal. I held my breath, my finger on the trigger, and waited patiently for the right. There it is, I whispered to myself as I saw a wild boar break away from the herd and slow down. Boom! A well-aimed shot. The wild boar flipped over and rolled down the slope. As the sun rose, the wild boars hid more carefully. We had to crawl into thick bushes to track down new prey. Hunting in dense brush is always a risky confrontation, where even the slightest mistake can cost you. But strangely, it's exactly that tightrope tension that makes me feel more thrilled than ever. Thanks to intense focus and quick reflexes sharpened through many encounters, I brought one down in just a few short seconds.
Très 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 belle balle.
And that kind of victory always gives me a sense of pride like nothing else. Travis and I carefully moved to a higher position, hoping to intercept the target from above. Just a few minutes later, the wild boar suddenly appeared, only about 5 meters away from us. Not willing to give it a chance to attack, Travis pulled the trigger 2 or 3 more times. The gunshots rang out through the forested hills, finishing off the prey before it could become dangerous. The tense encounter just moments ago made us even more alert. Another dark figure appeared. The boar didn't seem aggressive, but it was still dangerously close. A cold, single gunshot rang out. We gathered at the foot of the mountain. The hunt had only about 30 minutes left. After that, we'd return to the village, light a fire, and hold a small barbecue to share our hard-earned trophies. The distance was close, the shooting angle perfect, just one shot was enough to bring it down, no second round needed. A perfect victory to end the journey. And ahead of us, the mouth-watering scent of grilled meat was waiting.
Wild boars have now become a nightmare for residents across Europe. They constantly invade and devastate crops. Despite repeated hunting efforts, their numbers continue to grow, forcing local farmers to persistently confront the problem. In today's video, join us as we follow Tony and his team on their challenging hunt. Let's see how it unfolds. Early in the morning, Tony and his team position themselves in a freshly harvested field, open terrain with no cover left for the boars to hide. Here, even the slightest mistake would let their targets escape. A massive wild boar suddenly burst from the tall grass, weighing nearly 100 kilograms and sprinting like a bullet. Without hesitation, Tony and his team immediately gave chase in their vehicle. After intense pursuit, he took careful aim and dropped the beast with a single well-placed shot. Emboldened by this initial success, the team combed through the entire area with renewed determination, leaving no boar unchecked. After hours of tracking, Tony finally pinpointed the lead boar's movement. Without delay, an ambush plan was set into motion. Each second passed in breathless silence. Boom! A crisp gunshot rang out the moment the target appeared. The boar collapsed less than a meter from Tony. Once again, his experience and composure secured him another prized trophy. Before he could celebrate, a strange rustling erupted from the distant dry grass. As Tony moved closer to investigate, a massive boar suddenly charged straight at him. With no time to hesitate, his fingers instinctively squeezed the trigger. Years of hunting experience paid off. The perfectly placed shot stopped a potentially deadly attack mere inches away. After an exhausting day of hunting, the wild boar population showed no signs of dwindling. There were simply too many. So Tony and his team made a bold decision: night operation. As darkness fell and the air turned biting cold, prime conditions for boar hunting, they located their first targets within minutes. Through thermal scopes, the boars stood out vividly, making them easy marks. In just a few hours, they eliminated numerous targets, dramatically thinning the local boar population. The hunt continues relentlessly. At this moment, we're pursuing a fleeing wild boar. Despite its surprising speed, I managed to adjust my rifle and fire in rapid succession. Near the tree line in the distance, another sounder of boars wanders while foraging. Sensing imminent danger, they immediately wheel around and flee in panic. But Tony, ever prepared, needs only seconds to lock onto his target. With surgical precision, his shots find their mark, dropping the boar with centimeter-level accuracy. As night fell, the wild boars emerged in greater numbers, and these were even bigger specimens. In a coordinated moment, Tony and his team unleashed a synchronized volley of fire. When the gun smoke cleared, the boars lay lifeless on the forest floor. From their strategically chosen firing positions, they continued eliminating targets with deadly precision. One shot, one kill. As the hunt concluded, though the hunt yielded a significant number of kills, the size of the fleeing herd made one thing clear. These operations would continue until the wild boar population was brought under control.
An open field in Florida with no bushes to hide behind, no way out. A hail of bullets sweeps across, and the wild boars flee. But this time, they're not easy targets. When pushed to the edge, will wild boars run or go mad and charge into a deadly fight? And if a 300-pound one turns back to attack, will the shooter be fast enough to pull the trigger? Or is he the one being hunted? The wild boars stormed across the field like a surge of fury. They tore through rows of soil, snapped corn stalks, and trampled patches of crops nearing harvest. Nothing could stop them. Iron fences were bent, water tanks overturned, entire irrigation systems shattered. They didn't destroy to survive. They destroyed out of brutal instinct. Each step they took shredded more land, crushed more property into the mud. This was no longer mere damage. This was a declaration of war. The boars hid silently in the field, as if nothing were there. But the harvester was merciless. Wherever it went, their hiding places disappeared. Panic set in. With no place to hide, the boars rushed towards the bushes at the edge of the field, thinking that was where they could escape. But the gunman was waiting. No rush, no confusion. Just a glance, a quick shot following their path. The shot tore through the air. One fell to the ground without a sound. The hunt began. The vineyard in front was left with only dry stumps and patches of scattered grass. As soon as I stepped forward, the hunting dogs barked fiercely. Without thinking, I rushed toward the sound. And just as I had sensed, the wild boar suddenly leapt out. There was no time to hesitate. I raised my gun and pulled the trigger. Boom! One shot was enough. It collapsed, motionless. A clean end, no chance for a second time. Suddenly, a wild boar burst out of the field, panicked by the barking. The moment I caught sight of it, I raised my gun, aimed directly, and pulled the trigger repeatedly. But this one was tough. It weaved through and escaped out of sight. I didn't hesitate. I ran around to the hidden side. Just as I arrived, I saw it trying to turn back and I raised my gun without a second thought. It collapsed right at the edge of the field, not getting a chance to turn back. We moved to the next location, an endless green field. We sped up on our motorbikes. Suddenly, I spotted a dark shadow in the distance, a wild boar quietly creeping in to cause destruction. Without saying a word, my teammate immediately swerved and charged forward. As soon as the engine roared, it panicked and fled. The chase began. I aimed and pulled the trigger. First shot, missed. Second shot, still missed. Third shot wasn't any better, but we didn't stop. When we got close, just a few meters away, I raised my gun one more time. This time, no mistakes. One shot, clean kill. The beast collapsed right on its escape path. We returned to the cornfield, this time with our familiar allies, the hunting dogs. They spread out in all directions, sniffing every trace. In less than 5 minutes, loud barking erupted at the edge of the field. I immediately rushed over, gripping my gun tightly. As I approached the edge, I stopped and aimed toward the source of the noise. The sky was gradually getting dark, but I still hadn't stopped. Alone, I followed along the edge of the field, looking to see if any wild boar were left. Suddenly, I spotted the direction a boar was running. Without hesitation, I immediately picked up speed and moved to cut it off. It was about to dash into the neighboring field, but at that very moment, I had already raised my gun. One shot, precise. The boar collapsed on the spot, without making a sound. Hunting is not just a passion. It helps protect crops, livestock, and the very survival of others. Each boar taken down is one less threat to